Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In the previous lesson, we revisited the practical effects of following the divine law. As usual, the link to the previous video, as well as the book under study, The Philosophy of the Teachings of Islam, is given in the description below. In this video, we will learn about the wisdom behind God making oaths or swearing oaths in the Holy Quran.
اسمعوا صوت السماء جاء المسيح
At the end of the previous lesson, a verse of the Holy Quran was presented in which God Almighty takes an oath or swears an oath by calling various heavenly bodies to witness, such as the sun or the moon. To understand the wisdom behind this, we first have to understand the logic behind taking an oath in the first place. The purpose of taking an oath is to put forward a testimony in support of your claim. This would normally happen when you do not have an eyewitness to substantiate what you have observed. In such a case, one would call upon God as one's witness by taking an oath in His name. This is because God is all-knowing and is also the foremost witness in every controversy. As such, if the person swearing the oath in God's name is not punished by God, it would prove that he or she was telling the truth. This is also why Muslims do not take oaths in anyone's name but God's, because only God is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. Having understood this, one thing we must also understand is that the nature of oaths in relation to God is altogether different to that of man, because God Almighty does not really require any witness, for He is all powerful. However, there is a profound wisdom behind why God Almighty employs oaths in the first place. And the reason behind this is because divine manifestations are of two kinds. Firstly, those which are obvious, and secondly, those which are susceptible to interpretation or are purely inferential. God Almighty calls to witness the obvious phenomena to explain to us the nature of those manifestations which are inferential or susceptible to interpretation. The Promised Messiah ﷺ explains this in the following words. It is obvious that the sun and the moon, and the day and the night, and the heaven and the earth possess the respective characteristics that we have mentioned, but everyone is not aware of the characteristics possessed by the human soul. Thus, God has set forth His obvious manifestations as witnesses for the purpose of explaining His inferential manifestations. It is as if He says, if you are in doubt with regard to the qualities with which the human soul is invested, then reflect upon the sun and the moon, and the other phenomena cited which obviously possess these qualities. You know that man is a microcosm that comprises a tiny representation of the pattern of the universe. As it is clear that the great bodies of the macrocosm possesses these qualities and provide benefits for God's creatures, then how can man, who ranks above all those bodies, be without those qualities? That is not so, indeed. Like the sun, man possesses the light of knowledge and reason, whereby he can illumine the world. Like the moon, he receives light of vision and revelation from the divine and conveys it to others who have not yet arrived at the highest stage of human progress. Then how can you say that prophethood is a false notion, and that all prophethoods and purported divine laws and books are only the imposture and selfishness of certain human beings? You observe how all paths are lit up and the heights and depressions become distinct when the day dawns. In the same way, perfect man is the day of spiritual light. By his advent, every path becomes clearly distinguishable. He points out the right path, for he himself is the bright day of truth and righteousness. Bringing us to the end of today's lesson. In the next lesson, inshallah, we will begin answering the fifth and last question of this magnificent treatise. As usual, I have linked the previous video as well as the book under study in the description below. Make sure to click on the bell icon so you can be notified of future episodes, and please do subscribe, like and share this video so that we can enable as many people as possible to benefit from the treasures left behind by the Promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.